There's only one home event this week, and that is men's soccer JV plays Hendricks College tonight at 7 o'clock out at the soccer stadium, the Bill Stevens Soccer Stadium. If y'all want to watch the JV men's soccer team play, they play at 7 o'clock tonight. And then Coach Brown's, the Nathan Brown Coaches Show with Justin Akers at 7 o'clock at Walk-Ons on the Buzz 2 106.7 at 7 o'clock. And then there's a lot of road stuff. Women's golf's in Colorado, playing in the Golf Week Red Sky Classics from today through Wednesday. Women's soccer's at Austin P on Thursday at 6. Men's and women's cross country are at the Arkansas Chili Pepper Classic in Fayetteville Friday. Women's tennis is hosting its second fall tournament Friday and Saturday. Saturday, beach volleyball's at Louisiana Monroe. Softball plays at home against Oklahoma State at 1 o'clock in a fall game. Volleyball's at Eastern Kentucky at 3 o'clock. Men's soccer plays at Lipscomb at 4 o'clock. Football's at Cedar City, Utah, playing Southern Utah. For the first time, we'll play a team in Utah. We have never done this before. Game time is 7 p.m. local, 6 p.m. in Utah. Sunday, women's soccer plays Lipscomb in Nashville at 1 o'clock. And then men's golf is headed to Wisconsin to play in the Badger Classic next Sunday through Tuesday. All right. Men's and women's cross country headed to Fayetteville this weekend. Their last meet in Nashville, they swept both teams, right? Both teams swept. That's where the conference meet is at the end of the month. So hopefully we sweep again at the end of the month. But to give us a recap of their season and how it's going and what they look forward to at the Chili Pepper is Coach Josey Weaver.
Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, we, the big goal of going to Nashville was to see the conference course. Cross country, it's crazy. You can lose every single meet and you win the one at the end of October and you're the conference champ. So record doesn't mean a whole lot until that day, but you got to show up on that one. We learned a lot from the course. I was talking earlier to our table and we talked about how sometimes when you go to a cross country meet, you see them at the start and you see them at the finish line. And that's kind of how this course is. It's going to be a real battle of what team can stay in it mentally when coaches and fans aren't around supporting them. It goes off into the woods, they disappear, you see them pop out, hopefully they're in a good spot. So I like that. It allows us to see for practices moving forward what we support them with and what mental strategies we give them going into it. There were 4 teams from the ASUN that were there that got to see it. The other teams, I hope they don't go. There's one more meet toward the end of the year for a preview, and then after that, nobody will get to see. At that meet, what was really encouraging for our men and our women, both teams, our top 5 runners changed. So whenever your order changes, the word interchangeable, people stepping up, if it's not their best day, it's always a good sign to see for us. The next meet, as Daryl had said, we're going to Chili Pepper up in Fayetteville. That happens to be where our regional championship course is. So another preview, we get to go up there. It's one of the best meets in the country. There will be a lot of teams there that will test us, and we'll get to probably get a little slice of humble pie a little bit, which won't be a bad thing early in the year, and get back to trying to chase our goal there. Really pleased with where we're at. Cross country, it's a battle of teams, but really we turn it looking at ourselves. If we can leave there next week with a lot of PRs, then we know we're getting better as an individual, and if the individual in our team's getting better, our team is starting to get better as well. So looking forward to that. Yeah, thanks. Go Bears.
All right, women's soccer. Women's soccer is 3-0-1 in conference play right now. They defeated ASUN champion Florida Gulf Coast on Friday here at the Bill Stevens Soccer field 2-1, and then on Sunday tied Stetson 0-0. And now they go out on the road to 2 big road games. Lipscomb is leading the conference; they're undefeated, and Austin P is always a tough challenge on the road. So let's hear from Coach Jeremy Bishop.
Thanks, Daryl. I think you're selling yourself short. I don't think it's the B team. 1A, maybe, A.
What's that?
You said you were the B team.
I am the B.
Oh. I was trying to give him some credit. All right, you're the B team. Yeah, great week. Got to be at home again. Thursday night was exciting. You don't get to see a buzzer beater in soccer very often, but it's a great match. Florida Gulf Coast is a very good team. Expect them to be toward the top at the end, but with was it 26 seconds? 26 seconds left to go. We got scored the game winner, Anna Kerr. About a 60-yard run to chase down a great pass from Kelly. Those that saw it, it's like a sand wedge. She just lofted it in, spun in perfectly. Keeper couldn't quite get there, and Anna was able to beat her to it and put it in the net, give us the victory with just seconds on the clock. So that was exciting. Great atmosphere out there. Those of you who were there, I know there was a few of you that were there, and it was exciting. It felt like tournament time. You know, everybody was going nuts. By the way, I don't know that our sports information guys get enough credit. The footage, the amount of social media, things that were going on in that afterwards. But Steve's not here, but Ryan, Chase, you guys do a phenomenal job, all the crew with them. So whenever you get a chance to appreciate those guys, please do. So we sure do. Yeah. So then we had Sunday, Stetson here, and I thought we had a little bit of a slow start in that one. Able to still be at zeros going into the second half. Second half, we really turned it on, created a lot of really good scoring chances in the second half. Scored one that was called back. Still trying to figure out exactly what that was. Not sure still. Referee said handball. There's not one in the video, so I'm not sure exactly what happened there. But unfortunate ending to it. But that happens sometimes. Fortunately, it was still a draw, so we got the point. So now looking forward to us. Basically, a third of the way through the conference season. We got 11 matches. We've played 4. Haven't been defeated yet, and have been able to get 3 shutouts in those 4 matches. So highlighting a couple people. Case has been in goal throughout our conference season. Her and Lenia had a great battle going through preseason, a non-conference schedule. Really had a hard time deciding who we were going to go with, to be quite honest. They both were playing well. Casey got the nod and has been able to get 3 shutouts in 4 matches. So she's playing great in the goal. So Anna had the goal on Thursday night, and Trace scored another goal. Maybe that was her first one this year, but she's doing a great job of getting us opportunities, and Sydney continues to be a spark plug out there all over the field. So looking forward to the next several matches. We've got the road games coming up this weekend, and then we're back home for 2 the next weekend, and that'll be our official visit weekend. So we'll have a lot of recruits and families on campus. We'll be at the tailgate on Saturday with football, and we'll be around campus. So if you see some soccer recruits, let them know how great it is to be at UCA. So, any questions I can answer? All right, go Bears.
All right, volleyball. Volleyball had a tough weekend this weekend. They lost 3-2 to Lipscomb on Friday, and then lost 3-0 yesterday to Austin Peay. And unfortunately, the conference scheduling quirk happens now. They have 5 straight on the road, so they're not back at home in the Print Center till October 20th, which then they will have 6 in a row at home. So kind of a weird scheduling quirk there. Coach Newberry was busy today, but he will be back with us next week. It says right here on this sheet of paper. So, all right, men's soccer. Men's soccer is now 1-0-1 in conference play after their 6-2 blowout victory over this says Kennesaw State here, but we all know it was Queens University on Saturday at the Bill Stevens Complex. Sophomore Petro Fontani, which I probably just screwed up, from Italy, tied the single-season school record for scoring 4 goals, and he shares that record with Nicholas Brodacki now, who did that in 2017. The Bears play their next 3 games on the road, starting at Lipscomb Saturday, who is our big nemesis of the conference, and we'll let Coach Frank tell us all about it.
Yeah, I was hoping to have Pietro Fontana here, but I'm glad he didn't come now. I'm also glad, you know, that Daryl just calls me Coach Frank. He doesn't want to attempt Kohlenstein. It's a long one. But, you know, great for the guys to have such a big win. And let me revert back to Daryl calling himself, you know, the second fiddle. As when Steve told me that Daryl was doing it, this shows how old I am. I said, so is it Ed McMahon or is it Don Rickles? See, the old people would know what I'm talking about. So, Steve said he believes it's a combo. All right, so he has the delivery of Ed McMahon, but a little bit of the sarcasm and satire of Don Rickles. I don't have any of that. So, but let's get back to the soccer team. We won 6-2, was a great result, and Pietro did fantastic. And, you know, it really is the most important thing as a college coach is to see development in the young people that you're working with. And Pietro is a great example of that. Last year it was all about him and what can we do for him and how can he get to do this and how can he get to do that. But he's flipped a bit of a switch this year, and he's more interested in what other guys are doing and how the team is progressing, and therefore there's a lot more has come to him. You know, all season last year he had 2 goals and he has 7 already at our midpoint of the season. So that kind of development is really, really important to see, and great for our program, because we believe that other young people in the program can see that and they'll also develop. Now, as far as the coach's development, my wife, Deb, was on me because I wasn't over the moon that we won 6-2. I mean, we scored more goals in one match than we had the rest of the season combined. So I should just be as happy as can be. And I wish I could. But our second team guys went in, and I think Chase just pointed out that they tied 1-1, where the first team guys won 5-1. So in this deal about development, it's also about those guys getting better. So it's not just about, you know, if you're teaching a class, it's not just the ones that are getting the 4 O's in the front of the room and everything else. It's the ones that you have to take to study hall every day, and you have to tutor them and bring them forward. That's what's important. And, you know, I think sometimes when you're a coach, all we think about is the wins and losses, but that's, you know, I love the Coach Brown saying about we get paid with W's. Yeah, we do. But we also get paid when we see players move on like Pietro. So that's what we're working toward, and we appreciate all your support. And just like Jeremy said, you know, there's a lot of other people that help us to put on our matches and help us to be successful. you know, our SIDs, our marketing department, all of those. And I do have to give Daryl a little bit of credit for the victory on Saturday and the lopsidedness of it. So even though we had no crowd, because it's 95 degrees, and it's in the middle of the afternoon, and most soccer people are with their kids playing soccer. But the one thing we did have is we had heat. And the Queens team, they did not want any part of 95 degrees on a Saturday afternoon. So by Daryl helping us move to that time, I think he deserves credit. He deserves credit for at least 2 of them. So I hope we're able to do like Josey did and sweep in Nashville, because that would be really great for Coach Bishop and I. So thank you very much.
Yes, we would take a sweep in Nashville for sure. All right, football. I am not reading all this. This is a lot. He wrote a lot. I mean, my goodness. Coach Brown would have nothing to say if I read every bit of this. So I'm going to leave a lot of this to Coach Brown. So good luck, Coach. All right. So it's just some of the high points. We held Abilene Christian to 232 yards of total offense. But after the first quarter, they only had 118 yards. So you can see that after the first quarter, we figured it out, and we stopped them. And they were ahead 10-7 also at some point in the first quarter. So we are 1-0 in the conference. Southern Utah, who we've never played, is 1-3 overall. They just won their first game of the season this year. They beat Western Illinois, who has not won a game this season, 37-17. Their 3 losses are to Arizona State, BYU, and UC Davis, who is ranked. So the only other big point is that I'm going to let you talk about Shunderick, Coach, when you get up here. But the only other big point, Cedar City sits at an elevation of 5,800 feet. So, you know, we're only at about 300 feet. So that definitely could play a factor potentially, but I'm sure we'll handle it without any problem. The game will be on ESPN Plus, as well as the Bear and the Point. And now let's bring up Coach Nathan Brown.
Thanks, Daryl. Excited about the win on Saturday night. Pleased with the way we played. A lot of good things came to light when we hit 60 minutes on Saturday. So proud of our team, proud of our program. Played a very talented Abilene Christian team, and really a team that was coming in with a lot of momentum to our game. So pleased with that. Obviously, you don't necessarily expect to win a game in that fashion, you know, where you're able to roll it out like that. But the ball bounced our way. I think we created some of that with the way we played, and really the way we prepared throughout the week, as all these coaches probably understand. There's a direct correlation to the way you practice to the way you play, and it's hard to get 18 to 23-year-olds to understand that sometimes. But when you come to work every single day, you push each other. You look at the attention to detail. The little things create big things. I'm big on that. Like, do the little things; it'll create big things. Then good things tend to happen when you put the lights on and play a real game. So. Very proud of that. A lot of great individual efforts on Saturday night. Obviously, Daryl mentioned Shunderick Powell. I believe he was named National Player of the Year, or Player of the Week, excuse me, for his performance. You know, coming off of a 200-yard performance, 200-yard plus performance, over 300 total yards at North Dakota State, and then came back and followed that up with I think a career high. Somewhere in the mid 200s in the rushing total, and then another 2 or 3 catches and a touchdown as well. He's special. We're excited. We're excited we're not having to tackle him. We're excited he's on our side. But it wasn't. You know, the people you really want to mention is your offensive line and tight ends, because I believe that those guys they're coming on, and I thought they've handled themselves very, very well. Leading up to week 4, going into the Abilene game, maybe didn't give them enough credit for how they handled themselves at Oklahoma State, and also how they handled themselves at a place like North Dakota State. Bottom line is offensively, the only people that have stopped us is ourselves, and that's with some penalties. That's with a couple turnovers throughout the first 3 weeks, and we put all that behind us against Abilene and really played a complete football game. A lot to clean up. I mean, look, I told our team, specifically our offense, if we're not coaching you harder off a win like that, then we'll never be great. I mean, we can have a bunch of great individual players. We can be pretty good. We've got good talent. But if you really want to go from being a really good team to being a great team, you've got to learn more from a win like that than you do a loss. You tend to cross your T's, dot your I's, try to figure stuff out when you lose, right? Man, my hair's on fire. I'm going to figure this out. Why did we end up this way? Well, the same thing's got to be applied when you win. And I think that's the challenge, because you want to pat yourself on your back a little bit. You want to get as a young person, I want to feel good, right? Well, it's okay to feel good, but you've got to continue to work to get better. And hopefully that's the trend that we're trying to preach this week to our players. Very pleased with our defense on Saturday as well. As Daryl mentioned, we deferred to the second half. They got the ball, we kicked to them, and they take it down on an 8-play drive, put it right in the box. And so, there's a little bit of like, oh man, what's going on here? Let's figure it out. They ran the ball on us, which if you know Coach Stacks, that's like a cardinal sin to him. And so there was no panic. The offense taking it right down and making it 7-7 helped that probably. And then they took it right down and got a field goal. So they're up 10-7, and then offense stalls out on the next possession. We get them pinned up on the back end of their end zone, or on the back end of coming out, and so defense created the next score. So we talked about it all week. We thought the quarterback was going to get a deep drop. Our Buck Cobbs, our backup defensive end, to Logan Jessup, got in there, stripped the ball, and Jake Golday was able to jump on it for a touchdown to make it 14-10, and really we didn't look back from there. I think we went 9 straight possessions of causing a punt. 9 straight possessions where they had to punt the football. Offense went on a stretch there and scored, 35 straight points. And so I believe Abilene's a good football team. That'll be determined as they continue the season. Very big physical team, so very pleased to get that win and start the conference season off in the right fashion. I still am very cautiously optimistic about our team. I think we're pretty good. I think we have a chance to be a really good football team as we continue to push this season on. But again, it's going to take great weeks of practice. It's going to take that then translating to the field on Saturdays. And I think what gets me excited is we do have a fairly veteran group of guys. We've got guys that have been there and done that and played in big games. When you can lean on guys like Will McIlvain, who's playing at an extremely high level right now. When you talk about a guy that's playing good football, that's Will McIlvain. He's one of the most efficient passers in our conference, one of the most efficient passers in the country. We feel great about, obviously, our running back situation. Kylan James continues to be very, very dynamic in how we use him in the run game and pass game. Darius Hale's the thumper. He can get in there and make yards when you need yards, get in the end zone. And obviously the electricity of Shunderick Powell speaks for itself. And then defensively, you lean on guys like David Walker, Logan Jessup, Tamari Wilson, Cameron Godfrey. Those guys have played a lot of football for us, and they're good football players. So we feel like we're in a good spot. Now, the concerning thing is this week is obviously the unknown. Going to Southern Utah, I still having to kind of wrap my head around that being a conference game. It's just different. It's something we're not used to, but it is what we're in, and it's a great opportunity for our young men. I know this will be my first experience ever being in the state of Utah. I'm sure for many of our players it'll be the same way. So this is a little bit of unknown territory for me, for this program, and to be quite honest, it scares me. And so we're going to do a lot of study. We're going to do a lot of research on Southern Utah and just the setup of their stadium. What's the normal wind like? What's the atmosphere like? You just don't know, right? It's almost like playing a non-conference game, but it's not, right? I do know it's got high elevation, so we're making that an emphasis, obviously, this week. I do know it's windy there consistently. I mean, I think the forecast right now is calling for 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. And so that's a factor, right? That's going to play into field position. That's going to play into how you call a game. The temperature, I think, by kickoff is going to be low 60s, high 50s. We're going to practice at 90-degree temps all week. It's going to be different. It's going to feel that 55, 60 degrees is going to feel a lot cooler than what it really is. And so there's a lot of things that are factoring into this in a late September game that has my mind ticking, but also has me excited. This is a good football team. If you look at the Massey ratings, which I look at, it's very consistent. With how they evaluate FCS programs. I think they have the 6th hardest schedule in the country right now at the FCS level. You know, like Darryl said, they lost to BYU, they lost to Arizona State. That's 2 Power 5 teams, one in the Big 12, one in the Pac-12. And they lost to UC Davis by 2 points, who's a top 15 program right now. And then they played a tough game with Western Illinois out of the Missouri Valley, which we know the Missouri Valley is a great conference. So they're very battle-tested, very well coached. They're going to look different than what Abilene looked like. Abilene was big. Like Abilene's size, they were physically imposing. Weren't real fast, but they were big. These guys look a little more like us. They're quick twitch. Their defense is going to play downhill. They've got really athletic linebackers that can run side to side. They've got a 4-year starter at quarterback. That's always concerning. He's a guy that's played a lot of football for him. He's going to be brushing that 10,000-yard passing mark by the end of this year. So a ton of production on his end. They've got quick twitch receivers. Those receivers we played last week, look 6'3", 6'4", big physical dudes. Weren't real quick twitch. These guys are a little quicker. They look more like Gerard Barnes. They look more like Christian Richmond, a little quicker in and out of their breaks. So we're going to have to – it's a different style, right? I think right now our offense is averaging right under 300 yards a game rushing, which is awesome. That's great. And I think Southern Utah's given up 55 yards a game rushing. So very good defensive game plan against the rushing attack. So there's going to have to be something that has to give, you know. And so to win on the road, to win in an atmosphere like this, again, we need to win the turnover battle just like we did on Saturday. That's going to be huge. And then just play the elements. How's that? You know, don't let the elements beat you before you go out there, right? We're gonna educate ourselves. We're gonna get ready for them, but don't let it beat you before you get out there. But again, ready for the trip. Excited about the win. We need to build off this momentum. Don't sit there and feel good about yourself. Let's go get the next one. And if we can get out of September with a road win at Southern Utah, man, it's gonna bode well for us moving forward. Because if you look at the schedule, you turn the page and you look at October, we don't leave Conway in October. So that's huge, and that's obviously something that we're as coaches looking forward to. You're playing a game at a time as players, but we need to find a way to get this one. It's going to be difficult. This is a good football team. So a lot to look forward to. I think what you saw on Saturday is a sign of what could be. We just got to continue to. We've got to continue to press the envelope, and I like our group. I do, and I think we've got a chance as we continue to push this season forward. So excited about it. Any questions? Yes, sir. Yep. Doc.
When you're in that atmosphere, you're going to accumulate acid, you're going to accumulate fluid, and you're not going to get rid of carbon dioxide real quick in your body. Are you going to take oxygen with you?
Yeah, we are. Good question. We've rented, I think 3 or 4 tanks of oxygen just to have. Now we played. Here's the thing. We played in some. We played at the University of Colorado, I think, in 2011. I remember being very conscious of it then. Played it tough. Should have probably won the game, to be honest with you. We played at, the Montanas, both schools. I mean, so we've had some, and we've always had oxygen on the side. So we're going to have that on the sideline. And that's something you got to think about. I know we're overemphasizing hydration right now. Like this week, like we've got to hydrate, and we've got 2 or 3 hydration stations in the stadium where basically we're going to make guys drink. We're going to make them drink water. We're going to make them put electrolytes in their body. We're going to try to carb load them throughout the week as well. I don't want to. you know, it's one of those things you like, man, you want to educate it and do it, but you don't want to make it a bigger deal than it has to be. I want us to go about our normal routine, because if you get out of routine, sometimes, you know, football players are kind of like cattle sometimes, right? You take them off that path, and you can mess it up, you know. So I want them to stay on their routine, but I also want to make sure we're doing it smart. And so yeah, we're taking all those precautionary issues or things and moving forward with it. Steve?
Health-wise, how did we come out Saturday?
I think we're in great shape. I mean, like, we got a few bumps and bruises. One of our centers, Jacob Cox, he kind of got rolled up at the end. Looks like a sprain, you know, which he's a big, strong, heavy-footed kid. It's not like getting a knee sprain, an MCL sprain for a wide receiver. I would fully expect him to be good and available this week. He was a little swollen last night, but looked good. He was walking around fine. Had a corner that kind of got a contusion on his thigh, but he should be fine. Steven Edwards, don't expect him to miss any time. We're in pretty good shape, and that's a good thing, because we played 3 of our first 4 weeks have been physical football teams. You know, obviously with the first 2, you know, Oklahoma State, North Dakota State, but Abilene's a big physical team too. So we're health-wise, we're sitting in a good spot. You know, as we sit going into week 5 for sure. All right. Thank you all.
So, Coach, they wanted to know, since you're comparing them to cows, is it bulls or heifers? Steers. Steers, okay. Just wanted to make sure. Coach Hill.
They just put cow cartilage in my grandson's ankle. Many of y'all asked about it. If you don't know, he had a boating accident a couple weeks ago, and it's different if he's going to lose his foot or not. He's at children's right now, and the plastic surgeons are checking with that. They put cow cartilage and shark cartilage in his foot to rebuild it. And so right now it looks like, keep your prayers up.
We will do that.
Prayers all over the world. And I promise you, it works. So please keep them up. Thank you.
Yep, we will do that. We will do that. Did I forget anything? Anybody from the staff? Anything? All right, so everybody be listening. I think all the soccer games, are they on ESPN Plus too? I believe all the soccer games are on ESPN Plus. The volleyball games, for the most part, on ESPN Plus, and then obviously the football game will be on ESPN Plus. So you can definitely watch and keep up with the Bears as the week goes on. We appreciate everybody. Thanks. Have a good week. Go Bears. Go Sugar Bears. Bear claws up.